Gospel according to the book of Revelation.
Glory to you, O God.
In my sacred vision, I then saw a scroll resting on the right hand of the one sitting on the seat of honor. The scroll was sealed with 7 seals and full of words inside and out. Then I saw a powerful spirit messenger with a thundering voice saying for all to hear, "Who has gained the honor to take the scroll and break open its 7 seals?" But no one in the spirit world above, or on the earth below, or under the earth, was able to open the scroll or see what was inside. Many tears ran down my face as I wept and cried, because there was no one who had gained the honor to open the scroll and look inside. But one of the elders came to me. "Do not weep," he said. "Look, there is the Lion from the tribe of Give Him Praise, the one who has sprouted from the root of much love. He has won the victory and gained the honor to take the scroll and break open its 7 seals." Then I looked and saw a lamb that looked as if he had been violently killed, standing in the center near the seat of honor. He stood encircled by the 4 living spirit animals and the elders. The Lamb had 7 horns and 7 eyes. These are the 7 spirits of Creator that He has sent out into all the earth. Then the Lamb stepped forward and took the scroll from the right hand of the one who sat in the seat of honor. When He took the scroll, the 4 living spirit animals and the 24 elders all humbled themselves before the Lamb to honor Him. They each held a stringed musical instrument and a golden smudge bowl full of sweet-smelling smoke, which are the prayers of Creator's holy people. Then they sang a new song with these words, "To you belongs the honor to hold of the sacred scroll and break open its 7 seals. For you died as a lamb led to the slaughter. You paid the highest price by offering your lifeblood to bring people back to the Great Spirit from every tribe and language and people and nation. You have made them chiefs of the sacred nation of holy men and women who will give guidance to all the earth as they represent the good road to the Great Spirit." Then I heard the sound of countless numbers of spirit messengers, thousands upon thousands of them, and 10,000 times 10,000. They made a grand circle around the seat of honor, the spirit animals and the elders. With one thunderous voice they sang, "The Lamb that was violently killed has been honored with power, riches, wisdom, chiefly rule, respect, blessing, greatness, and praise." Then I heard all of creation, those in the spirit world above, on the earth below, under the earth, and in the sea of great waters. They were singing, "All blessing, respect, honor, and chiefly rule belong to the one who sits on the seat of honor, and to the Lamb, to the time beyond the end of all days." This is the good news of Christ.
Thanks be to God. Grace to you and peace in the name of the one who was and is to come. Amen. Last week, Rachel and I began this Revelation series by naming something that has shaped the imaginations of many Christians for a long time. The idea that Revelation is a coded warning label, a countdown clock, a divine evacuation plan, a story about who gets taken away and who gets left behind. But Revelation didn't begin with fear. It began with worship. John was lifted into God's presence not to escape the world, but to see it truthfully. And what he saw first was a throne, beauty, order, praise, the center that holds. Today, Revelation takes us deeper into that throne room. And what we see here in chapter 5 is the beating heart of the entire book. If Revelation were a symphony, this would be the moment when the music swells and everything becomes clear. Because today, we meet the one who reigns, and it's not who we expected. John sees a scroll in the right hand of the one seated on the throne. A scroll sealed with 7 seals, full of words inside and outside. A scroll that contains God's purposes for the world, God's healing, God's justice, God's future. And a mighty angel asks, "Who is worthy to open the scroll?" No one steps forward. Not the elders, not the living creatures, not the angels, not John, not the church, not the empire, not the powerful, not the righteous. No one is worthy. And John begins to weep. It's such a human moment, because we know what it feels like to look at the world and think, who can fix this? Who can heal this? Who can make sense of this? Who can bring justice? Who can stop the violence? Who can open the future? John's tears are our tears. Then one of the elders says, "Do not weep. Look, the Lion of Judah has conquered." A lion, a symbol of strength, dominance, and victory. A creature that tears its enemies apart. This is exactly the kind of Messiah that people still expect. A God who wins by force, who crushes enemies, who rewards the good and punishes the bad, who sorts the world into winners and losers. A God who neatly fits into rapture theology. But when John turns to look, he does not see a lion. He sees a lamb standing as if it had been slaughtered. Not a predator, not a warrior, not a conqueror in any earthly sense, but a lamb, wounded, vulnerable, yet standing, alive, radiant, at the center of the throne. This is the great reversal of Revelation. This is the moment that rewrites everything. The lion conquers as a lamb. Power is redefined. Victory is redefined. God is redefined, not by force, but by self-giving love. The lamb does not win by violence. The lamb wins by faithfulness. The lamb wins by mercy. The lamb wins by refusing to play the empire's game. This is the moment Revelation stops being a horror story and becomes gospel. This morning we also heard this story from the Indigenous translation, the First Nations version of Revelation 5. And it adds something essential. In that translation, the lamb is described as a lamb that looked as if he had been violently killed, standing in the center near the seat of honor. The scroll is called a sacred scroll. The elders hold golden smudge bowls full of sweet-smelling smoke. The lamb's work is described as bringing people back to the Great Spirit. This translation does not soften the text, it deepens it. It reminds us that Revelation is not a Western book. It's not a European book. It's not a book written for empire or from the perspective of empire. It is a book written by a colonized person living under occupation, speaking to communities who were marginalized, pressured, and often persecuted. Indigenous Christians know something about that. They know what it means to live under empire. They know what it means to have their stories suppressed, their languages taken, their ceremonies outlawed, their children stolen. And yet, in this translation, the elders hold bowls of incense that look like smudge bowls. The prayers of the saints rise like sweetgrass. The Lamb gathers people from every tribe and language and people and nation, not to erase them, but to honor them. Revelation is not about sameness. It's about belonging. It's not about escape. It's about healing. It's not about domination. It is about the Lamb's way of mercy. This is also Pride Month, which means we are invited to hear Revelation with queer ears as well. Ears that know what it is to be excluded, misunderstood, or told that God's love has limits. But listen again to the song of heaven. You purchased for God members of every race and tongue, of every people and nation, every race, every language, every people. The Lamb's kingdom is not narrow. It is not gated. It is not reserved for the few who fit a certain mold. The Lamb gathers the world. And if the Lamb gathers the world, then the church must not scatter it. If the Lamb welcomes all nations, then the church must not draw lines around who is worthy. If the Lamb's power is self-giving love, then the church must not use fear or shame as tools of control. Pride Month is not a distraction from Revelation. It is a living example of Revelation's vision, a community where people who have been pushed to the margins are brought to the center of God's love. The Lamb does not conquer by excluding. The Lamb conquers by embracing. When the Lamb takes the scroll, heaven erupts in song. And this is where Revelation becomes deeply familiar to us as Lutherans. Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and wealth, wisdom and strength, honor and glory and praise. If those words sound familiar, it's because they are woven into our liturgy. They echo in our hymns. They rise in our Eucharistic prayers. They shape our worship. Revelation is not a strange book sitting at the back of the Bible waiting to scare us. Revelation is the soundtrack of our worship life. Every Sunday we join the elders and the living creatures and the angels and the saints in singing, "Holy, holy, holy," and "Worthy is the Lamb." Our liturgy is not something we invented, it is something we inherited from heaven. And the imagery, the harps, the incense, the thunderous praise, the rainbow around the throne, the sea of glass, the countless angels, it is all in a word, breathtaking. It is meant to overwhelm us with its beauty. Again, Revelation is not a horror movie. It is a cathedral made of sound and color and light. It is stained glass in motion. It is worship that spills over the edges of heaven and floods the earth. And in the center of all that beauty stands the Lamb, wounded yet alive, slaughtered yet standing, vulnerable yet victorious. The Lamb's victory is not about escape. It's about healing. It's about reconciliation. It's about renewing creation. It's about bringing all people into God's life-giving presence. This is the opposite of regressive rapture theology. Rapture theology says some get taken away, others get left behind. Revelation says the Lamb gathers all nations into a kingdom of priests. Rapture theology says God saves the few. Revelation says God heals the many. Rapture theology says, fear what's coming. Revelation says, worship the one who already reigns. If the Lamb is Lord, not the lion of our imagination, not the empire, not fear, not violence, then our lives take a different shape. We don't follow Christ by dominating, we follow Christ by loving. We don't witness by threatening, we witness by serving. We don't prepare for the end by escaping. We prepare by participating in God's healing work now. The Lamb invites us into a different kind of power. The power of forgiveness, the power of compassion, the power of courage, the power of truth, the power of sacrificial love. This is the power that opens the scroll. This is the power that heals the world. This is the power that reveals God's future. Last week, the invitation was to see the world from God's perspective, to begin with worship, not fear. This week, the invitation is to let the Lamb rewrite our understanding of power. Let the Lamb rewrite how we think God works, how we think the world changes, how we think justice comes, how we think salvation happens, how we think the story ends. Because the one who reigns is not the lion of domination. The one who reigns is the Lamb of mercy. So today, as we hear the song of heaven, worthy is the Lamb who was slain, may it reshape our imaginations. May it soften our fears. May it quiet our need for control. May it open our hearts to the God who conquers by love. And may we follow the Lamb wherever he leads, into compassion, into justice, into courage, into hope, into a future held not by fear, but by the one who sits on the throne and the Lamb who reigns forever. The one who was and is to come.